Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine, and today we're talking about money issues.
That's right. So there are some really interesting phrases, and we're going to learn a little bit about how money and Social Security works in the United States. But before we get into that, why don't we look at vocabulary preview?
Vocabulary preview.
So we're talking about retirement, and that means we're going to talk about when you stop working when you're 63 or 65. How do you save money for that? And the phrase we've got here is retirement plan.
All right, so a retirement plan. So as you say, that's some money that you have for when you retire, when you're 65, when you're too old maybe to work.
Exactly, and there are many different kinds. We're going to hear about one that's called a 401k, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First, let's listen to today's dialogue.
Well, that was an interesting documentary.
For sure. I didn't really understand some of the technical jargon they used in the film when they talked about Social Security in the US.
Like what?
Well, they mentioned how people put away money in something called a 401k.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but a 401k is a type of retirement plan that allows employees to save and invest for their own retirement. Through a 401k, you can authorize your employer to deduct a certain amount of money from your paycheck and invest it in the 401k plan. Everyone tries to contribute as much as possible so that when you retire, you can rest peacefully on your nest egg.
That's interesting and logical, I guess. In my country, we also have to contribute to a government-run retirement fund, but most people don't really trust it, so they just invest in properties or things like that.
That seems a bit unstable, don't you think?
Yeah, but corrupt governments in the past have created distrust among banks and financial institutions, so now people prefer to have money hidden in a jar or a piggy bank.
I've been thinking of doing that lately. I don't want some banker to run off with my money.
All right, we're back from today's dialogue. Now, some really interesting words and phrases there. And as you said, this 401k, what is a 401k?
Well, I'm not sure about the details, honestly, but the 401k plan is a plan for workers, people who are young and working, to invest in their retirement. And so it's a way to save money.
So every day they put a little bit of money towards this plan. And in the end, when they retire, they will have a certain amount of money that they can use throughout their seniorhood.
Exactly. And so before we have that, we have this conversation which starts with a documentary. So they're learning about 401ks. And in this case, the person says that they didn't understand a lot because there was a lot of technical jargon.
All right. So this word jargon, it's very similar to slang, right?
Exactly. And it's a special kind of talking or special words related to a certain topic.
Or a certain industry. For example, you hear a lot of business jargon, right?
Or marketing jargon.
Yeah, when people start talking about, POPs and POS and like all that jargon.
I lost you. Sorry. No, I don't get that. Well, jargon then is a special language for a certain industry or field. And in this case, we're learning about financial jargon and investment jargon. So we're talking about 401ks and funds and all that stuff. So,
okay, very good. And now, when they were talking about the 401k, he explained how they deduct money to put into this plan.
Well, the question is who deducts money and where does it all go? And so to deduct means to take away, and this means in a 401k plan, the government will deduct money from your paycheck and put it into a special savings plan for you that you can access when you're retired.
Okay, so to deduct means to take away, to take out, right?
Exactly. So subtract, deduct, take away, take out.
Very good. All right. And as they kept talking about money issues, the woman said that people in her country distrust banks and financial institutions.
Okay, so you might recognize a word there, distrust, trust. They have the same root. And so to trust someone is to believe in them and to believe what they say. But to distrust means to think what they're saying is a lie.
Okay, so you don't really believe that person.
No, so if someone says, trust me, I will take your money and I won't spend it, you say, I distrust this person. That means I don't trust.
Right, very good. And well, why do they distrust these institutions? Because the government is a bit corrupt.
Okay, so you hear this word a lot in the news or in the newspaper. You can have a corrupt government or a corrupt politician. That means that the government does things but says it doesn't and maybe is dishonest. It's distrustful.
Right. So, for example, a corrupt politician will support a law that's not really good, but maybe he's being paid by somebody else.
Or a corrupt politician will take money from the government institutions to use for himself and not for the country or the people.
That's right.
Corrupt government then.
Okay, very good. All right, so why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back soon with Fluency Builder.
Well, that was an interesting documentary.
For sure. I didn't really understand some of the technical jargon they used in the film when they talked about Social Security in the US.
Like what?
Well, they mentioned how people put away money in something called a 401k.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but a 401k is a type of retirement plan that allows employees to save and invest for their own retirement. Through a 401k, you can authorize your employer to deduct a certain amount of money from your paycheck and invest it in the 401k plan. Everyone tries to contribute as much as possible so that when you retire, you can rest peacefully on your nest egg.
That's interesting and logical, I guess. In my country, we also have to contribute to a government-run retirement fund, but most people don't really trust it, so they just invest in properties or things like that.
That seems a bit unstable, don't you think?
Yeah, but corrupt governments in the past have created distrust among banks and financial institutions, so now people prefer to have money hidden in a jar or a piggy bank.
I've been thinking of doing that lately. I don't want some banker to run off with my money.
All right, we're back. So on Fluency Builder, we're going to look at 3 phrases. So let's look at them now.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, this first phrase is what the entire dialogue is about. It's about putting away money. So to put it away.
Okay, so to put money away, that's an equivalent of saving, right?
Exactly, to save. So in this case, to put away is a fixed phrase. These words, they go together very often, and it means to save. So you could say, oh yeah, last year I put away $1,000.
Okay, so you saved $1,000.
Exactly.
Very good. And well, why are we putting all this money away? We're trying to build a nest egg.
Now this is a funny phrase.
That is funny.
A nest is a home for a bird. You know, it's made of sticks and twigs and leaves.
Right.
And a nest egg then has to do with a bird's
Eggs in the nest.
Well, I don't know where it comes from, but it does mean money that you've saved up for some date in the future. So you could say, I'm trying to grow a nest egg. I'm trying to build a nest egg so that in 10 years I can buy a house.
Okay. So it's not only for retirement. You can build a nest egg to possibly invest it in the future into buying a house.
Exactly. It's your savings that you don't touch. So I could say, I'm going to kill you. You spent the nest egg.
All right.
That's not for spending. It's
Yeah.
for saving.
All right. And well, where can you save money for your nest egg? It's very popular to put it in a piggy bank.
Well, maybe if you're 5 years old, but I don't know if I'd put a lot of money in a piggy bank.
Right.
Piggy bank is usually a ceramic pig,
Right.
you know, and it's got a hole in the top and you can put coins in
Right,
the top.
right.
And so we give these to children to teach them how to save.
How
So
to
they can
save
put
money.
1 penny in every day.
And then when they need the money or they want to spend it, they break the piggy bank.
Exactly. You have to throw it on the ground. And it's sad because you realize, oh, now I don't have my pig anymore. Lost my nest egg.
All right. So why don't we listen to this dialogue again? Let's keep a lookout for all these words and phrases, and we'll be back shortly.
Well, that was an interesting documentary.
For sure. I didn't really understand some of the technical jargon they used in the film when they talked about Social Security in the US.
Like what?
Well, they mentioned how people put away money in something called a 401k.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but a 401k is a type of retirement plan that allows employees to save and invest for their own retirement. Through a 401k, you can authorize your employer to deduct a certain amount of money from your paycheck and invest it in the 401k plan. Everyone tries to contribute as much as possible so that when you retire, you can rest peacefully on your nest egg.
That's interesting and logical, I guess. In my country, we also have to contribute to a government-run retirement fund, but most people don't really trust it, so they just invest in properties or things like that.
That seems a bit unstable, don't you think?
Yeah, but corrupt governments in the past have created distrust among banks and financial institutions, so now people prefer to have money hidden in a jar or a piggy bank.
I've been thinking of doing that lately. I don't want some banker to run off with my money.
All right, we're back. So this whole savings thing, are you good at saving? Do you have your nest egg planned out for your retirement?
Nest egg, no, but I'm a compulsive saver.
Really?
I like to save a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you never know when you're going to need money. And I think once you get a kind of an adult job, you know, the 9-to-5 job,
Right.
It's important to spend as little as possible so that you can create a nest egg or some kind of savings account for the future, because it'd be nice to have a car or a house someday.
Right, right. And also, as you say, unexpected things happen. So something may happen. Maybe you break your arm and you don't have any savings or maybe no insurance. So at least you have some money stashed away where you can use it.
Exactly. And I know that in America right now in the news, the credit crisis is very popular to talk about. And so part of this economic situation is that people owe more money than they have. That means they've spent more money than they own. And so they don't have any savings. And that really scares me. So I think it's a really smart idea to start investing as soon as you can.
What is Social Security? Many people in the United States talk about Social Security. It is something important for workers, families, and older people. Social Security is a program from the government. It helps people when they are too old to work. It also helps people who become sick or disabled. Some families can get help if a worker dies. The money from Social Security helps people pay for their needs. It can help with food, housing, and other basic things. When people work, they give a small part of their money to the government. This money goes into the Social Security system. The money is saved and used later to help people. When workers stop working because they are old, they can get money each month from Social Security. This helps them live even when they do not have a job anymore. Social Security is not only for older people. It also helps people who cannot work because of health problems. These people may get money to help with living costs. Children and spouses may also get help if someone in the family who work dies. This can make life a little easier during a hard time. Many workers pay into the system every time they get paid. This is why the program works. The money goes in, and then the money comes out when people need it. Social Security is like a promise. If you work and pay into it, you can get help in the future. It is not a gift. It is something workers earn by working. Understanding Social Security is important for people living in the United States. It helps many people every day. Who can get Social Security? Social Security is for people who work and live in the United States. To get help from Social Security, a person usually needs to work for some time and pay money into the system. Every time a person gets paid, a small part of their paycheck goes to Social Security. This helps build their record. The government keeps a record of how long each person works and how much money they earn. This record helps decide if a person can get Social Security later. People who work full-time or part-time may be part of the system. Some people may work in jobs that do not pay into Social Security. These people may not get the same help. But most jobs in the U.S. are part of the system, and many people are able to build their record. Not only workers can get help. If a person becomes very sick or disabled and cannot work, they may be able to get Social Security help, even if they are not old. A doctor must say the person has a serious health problem. Then the government will look at the person's work record. If the record is long enough, the person may get money each month. When a worker dies, their family may also get help. A husband, wife, or children can sometimes get Social Security money. This is called a survivor benefit. It is a way to help families after a loved one is gone. The money does not replace everything, but it helps with some important needs. Sometimes people come to the US from other countries. These people can also be part of the Social Security system if they have legal permission to work. If they work and pay into the system, they may get help later too. Social Security does not only look at where a person is from, it looks at the work they do and the money they pay into the system. It is also important to know that not everyone will get the same amount of money. Some people get more and some get less. This depends on how long they worked and how much they earned. How do people get Social Security payments? When a person is ready to receive Social Security, they must first apply. This means they must tell the government they want to start getting money. People can do this online by phone or at a Social Security office. The person will need to give some information. They may be asked about their work, their health, or their family. The government uses this information to decide if the person can get help. If the person is approved, they will begin to receive payments. These payments come once a month. The money usually goes straight to the person's bank account. This is called direct deposit. It is simple and safe. The person can then use the money to pay for their needs like food, rent, or medicine. The amount of money a person gets is not the same for everyone. It depends on how much the person worked and how much money they made while working. People who worked for many years and earned more money usually get higher payments. People who worked for fewer years or earned less money usually get smaller payments. The government looks at the person's work record to decide how much they should receive. Some people choose to get Social Security when they stop working. Others may wait a little longer. Sometimes, waiting means the monthly payment will be a little higher. But some people need the money right away, so they choose to get it earlier. The best time to start depends on the person's life and needs. When people get Social Security, they must keep the government updated. If they move to a new address, or if their life changes in a big way, they must tell the Social Security office. This helps make sure they still get the right amount of money. It also helps stop mistakes or problems. People do not have to use the money in a special way. They can use it for anything they need. For many, Social Security helps them live with more peace and less worry. What is Supplemental Security Income, SSI? Some people in the United States need help, but they do not have enough work history to get regular Social Security. These people may still get help through another program called Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. SSI is also run by the government. It gives money each month to people who have little or no income. These people may be older, blind, or have a disability that makes it hard to work. SSI is different from regular Social Security. With Social Security, people get money because they worked and paid taxes. With SSI, people get help even if they did not work much. The government looks at how much money and property the person has. If they do not have much and they meet other rules, they may be able to get SSI. People who want SSI must also apply. They give information about their money, the place they live, and their health. The government checks this information to make sure the person qualifies. If the person is approved, they begin to get money each month. This money can help pay for food, clothes, or a place to live. Sometimes a person gets both regular Social Security and SSI. This happens when their Social Security payment is very low. SSI helps add more money so the person can meet their basic needs. It is like extra support for people with very little. Some people who get SSI also qualify for help with healthcare. They may get Medicaid, which helps pay for doctor visits, medicine, and hospital care. This is important for people who are sick or have health problems. Medicaid can make life easier and help people stay healthy. SSI is a way for the government to care for people who are in great need. It does not give a lot of money, but it can make a big difference for someone with no other help. How Social Security helps family Social Security is not only for workers. It also helps families, especially when something difficult happens. When a person who works dies, their family may feel lost and worried. The money they depended on may be gone. But Social Security can help during this time. The family may receive monthly payments to help with living costs. This is called survivor benefits. Survivor benefits can go to a husband or wife. They may also go to children if the worker was their parent. Sometimes even a former husband or wife may get help, depending on the situation. These payments do not replace all the money that is lost, but they can help the family continue to buy food, pay rent, and live in a safe place. Children who lose a parent may still go to school and grow in a healthy way with help from Social Security. The money gives some stability when life feels very hard. It shows that the government is trying to take care of families in need. It is a way to give comfort and support when someone important is gone. In some families, one person stays home to take care of children, while the other person works. Even the person who stays home can be helped by Social Security if something happens to the worker. The system understands that taking care of a family is also valuable. That is why it offers help to family members, not just to the person who worked. Social Security also helps people who take care of children with disabilities. A parent who needs to stay home and care for a child may get help through certain programs. This support helps keep families strong. It gives people hope and makes it easier to continue with daily life. The Social Security system is built to care for the whole family. It understands that when one person is gone or unable to work, the rest of the family still needs help. The future of Social Security has been helping people for a long time. It gives support to workers, to people who are sick, and to families in need. Many people in the United States depend on it every month. As the world changes, Social Security also changes. New rules and ideas can shape how the system works, but the main goal stays the same. It is here to help people live with safety, peace, and care. More people are living longer lives now. This means many people will need Social Security for more years. It also means that the system needs to keep working well so it can help in the future. Leaders talk about ways to protect Social Security. They want to make sure it stays strong for many years. People who work today want to feel sure that they, too, will get help when they grow older or face hard times. Learning about Social Security is important, especially for people who are new to the country or just starting their work life. When people understand how it works, they can make better plans. They can think about their future and know where their help may come from. They can also teach others, like family members or friends, who need this information too. The Social Security system may seem big and complex, but it is built on a simple idea, helping people when they need it most. It is not just money. It is also trust, care, and support for people who have worked hard. It reminds us that no one has to go through life alone. There's help and there is hope.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Spend money on something in order to get back more. Invest. A U.S. government program to protect certain groups. Social Security.
Let's try that faster.
Spend money on something in order to get back more. Invest. A U.S. government program to protect certain groups. Social Security.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Social Security. Excuse me, sir. Please fill in your Social Security number in these blanks. Social Security. Throughout a worker's career, the Social Security Administration keeps track of his or her earnings. Social Security. If a worker covered by Social Security dies, a surviving spouse can receive survivor's benefits. Invest. I was hoping to get my money invested in something safe. Invest. He was in such a hurry to get that money invested that he didn't realize his decision was horrible. Invest. How do you think I should get this money invested? Social Security. Peter was deducted half a month's salary when he became ill. Social Security. Some banks will deduct a monthly fee from your account. Social Security. The referee deducted 3 points from the opposite team. Invest. The thief ran off with over $500,000. Invest. A dog came into my house and ran off with my shoe. Invest. The police chased the criminal through the neighborhood, but he managed to run off into the forest. Social Security. I really don't understand some of the business jargon that is used in my office. Social Security. My brother is really into computers and knows all the computer jargon used in the cyber world. Social Security. I get lost in marketing meetings when they start using jargon such as POP or POS.
Thank you for listening to this podcast about Social Security. We hope it helped you learn new words and understand more about how this system works. Keep practicing your English and keep learning about the world around you. Until next time, take care and goodbye.